how big this show is, or where you are in your career, and it was like seeing your own cosplay was just mind-blowing. And then meeting Josh Whedon yesterday, and he came up to ask me for a photo because he's a fan of the show. I was like, okay, yeah, this is surreal. this is actually happening. Very strange, but awesome.
Sounds like Comic-Con's much different for you this year than last year.
No, you know what? I'm glad in the way it works, because my first ever Comic-Con experience, it was like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. That's how I felt. I got a golden ticket, and not to say these lot were the other kids, they were just as excited, but it was just a sensory attack. I couldn't believe I was here. The minute I posed I did a photo just with those logos, like all the guys that I look up to, that's how it was, and I didn't have to, there weren't autographs, there's no one had seen the show, and there wasn't any, it was just getting to experience this side and being on this side of it without anyone knowing who you are. This year's been different, we're back again, but now everyone knows the show, so it had some new enthusiasm. So I've liked the way I've experienced my first 2 years. It's been cool.
So where do we find your character when the season kicks off this year?
I have no idea. Basically we all got together with the writers, and I kind of stayed away from spoilers. I just wanted to read episode 1. So I've heard a few things over, like in the car over and stuff, like what's happening in season 2, but I personally just stayed away from it because I wanted to get to Vancouver, I wanted to get into costume, I wanted to get into that mindset, and then hear about his journey. I didn't want to hear about it 2 months early and start pre-planning how I'm going to do something. Okay? So I've kind of stayed away from a lot of it, but there's a lot of pieces to pick up. Obviously we ended on a cliffhanger. Ravi, he's lost his cure. There's no more tainted utopium. And as I understand it, that's going to play a lot. His search for that and the experimentation is going to play a significant portion of his journey.
He's going to have a lot of science to deal with, though, since Liv gave it to.
Major.
Yeah. So there's going to be.
Well, we don't. Yeah, that's the thing. The way it was left is that the reason he didn't want her to use the cure is because it killed the last round. It works to a certain degree. That's not a perfected cure, and that's why he insisted that it wasn't ready for human testing. But she went ahead and did it anyway. So he does have 2 new guinea pigs in Blaine and Major. And it's TV, so it's not going to be cut and dry, and they're definitely not, it's not as simple as, oh, it worked, great. I think there's going to be a lot of twists and turns with that.
The first season, the show wasn't afraid to kill off some quite major characters. Does that kind of make you nervous? Because the stakes are so high on this show that, it does feel like anyone can go.
We all talk about it. I'm very fortunate my character works in the mall, because I can't think of another way Liv can get brains without my character. So I think just by that I should be okay. And also I get to do, my character has to do the every week, the obligatory, oh, you've just had the alcoholic brain. Did you know that so that the audience knows what she's about to experience? So in that sense, I think I'm safe. Very crucial. But this interview will look hilarious when I get to episode 2. I'm
going to save it.
How do you think the dynamic's going to change between Ravi and Major now that Major knows about Ravi knowing about that and not having said anything?
From what I do know about the following episodes, I don't think there's a huge fallout between Major and
Serious,
I told them about my death. Between Major and Ravi, I don't think there's a huge fallout between the 2 of them. I think Ravi isn't Major's friend. He's Liv's friend, and he's Liv's confidant, and vice versa. Major was was a mutual party that was brought in and they became roommates. And him protecting him, I know it meant that he went to a psych ward and all that stuff happened. And he tried to juggle the two, and I think Major would appreciate that. But Ravi was in a difficult position, and I think he dealt with it as best as he could without upsetting either party too hard. Where those two are in their relationship is a completely different story, because she owed him that, and they had then much more to lose than Ravi and Major. So I think that cure and the knock-on effect is far more relevant to those two than it is to Ravi and Major. I think they just pick up where they left off to a certain degree.
Sorry guys, we gotta wrap.
Awesome, thank you so much. Take care, guys.